All right, whoa, too hard. All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the DIY Diesel Podcast, also on Buzzsprout. Today, we are going to be adding a new fuel filter. Not really going to cover that too much, but we are going to cover is showing you how to replace your air filter if you have not or do not know how to do that. I know it's kind of a simple task, but not everybody knows how to do it. And we're actually not going with an oil filter. We're going with a dry filter. So we'll cover that in this video as well. So like I said, make sure you hit that like button and let's get into this video. Should be pretty easy. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and take the plastic fender liner off. Gotta take all the little plastic clips off. They're very annoying. Nobody likes doing them, but you have to do it. I'm not gonna make you guys watch us take this all the way completely off, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. So first things first is we're gonna unclip the water sensor from the bottom of the filter here. Right here, we're gonna unclip that, and then we'll take this filter out. Here is the water sensor that you've got to take out if you didn't order a new one. A lot of people just order new ones, but we don't. Just take it out. We're gonna take that O-ring off, and we've got a new O-ring that we're gonna put on. Beautiful. When you put your old O-ring on for the water sensor, you're going to, I keep saying water separator. I'm getting my lift pump and your regular. When you get the old, put the new gasket on, you're gonna wanna make sure you get some fuel on that old O-ring to lubricate it, to put it on real nice and good. And then you also want to make sure you put on, you know, the same amount of fuel when you throw it on the new O-ring on, or if you're using the old one, yada, 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 on the new filter as well. So that is important to keep in mind. Pretty simple though. All right, so Eric's now gonna go ahead and reinstall his new filter. They're kind of a little bit tricky, we're not gonna lie. But once you get it started, you'll feel it. Now he's gone. Boom. Here we go. Get it nice and tight. And then give it probably a good quarter turn. Yeah, there you go, nice and good. And then go ahead, reinstall that water sensor. All seriousness, water fuel filters are really easy to change. That's your water sensor to let you know if you have too much water in your fuel filter. And then you'll be able to drain it out from that spot. But again, some people delete it. I don't recommend deleting it. You can delete it if you want to. Just keep up with your fuel filter changes if you do delete it. I recommend not deleting it because it's there for a reason and it's a sensor. So, but now we're gonna go ahead and do the air filter. Quick tip, we're gonna replace the factory plastic bleeder screw with this. This is a Dorman 904-112. You get a bunch of them, but they're now brass screws with a nice O-ring on them. Right down in there, you can see Eric's working. That is a plastic screw. They are junk. They can strip out, especially in the wintertime if you're cold and you're frantic and everything like that, and you got to prime your system. I had no clue where you were going with that. I'm like, okay, Eric. I was like, Eric wants me to focus on him right now. And that's where they belong. There you go. Look at that nice brass screw in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and prime the pump. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and get to the air filter. I completely forgot. Quick video here for you guys. So I completely forgot. You're going to want to prime your fuel bulb there, replace it with a brass screw. It's very important. That is a lifesaver. I'm telling you right now from my experience, that brass screw is a lifesaver if you still run a factory fuel housing. And then you're gonna go prime it, check it, make sure you go below, you don't have any leaking, and then you'll start the truck up, make sure while the truck's running you have no leaking, and you're good to go on the fuel filter. Now, we can go to the air filter. All right, so the air box, you've got a Phillips or a straight blade. I recommend using a straight blade, but what is Eric gonna use? He's gonna use the big Phillips. Oh, that is a big Phillips. If you're gonna use a Phillips, that's the Phillips to use. Well, my Trailblazer, whoever did, I'm assuming it was like a quick lube place, stripped the absolute hell out of those screws. That's the one. All right, it's one screw, and there's your filter right there. Holy bejeebers, man. Look at that. You got junk in there. Look at that. Come on, man. Look at that thing. That is nasty. All right, so what we have here is the old one. It's pretty nasty. It's very old. I don't even think this is the first time you've changed it since ownership, right?
It is.
So this one's pretty old. It's a dry filter, and I suggest using dry filters versus the oil filters. What are your thoughts on a dry versus oil filter?
So technically, dry filters are not as
long lasting.
Well, they don't have they're not as protective as an oil filter. Yes, an oil filter does filter better. Depending on, there's a lot of research on it. You can read, you can follow that rabbit hole if you want, but I would go with a dry filter. It's cheaper, just as reliable. They wouldn't make them if they weren't good.
I would say, so you guys know I have my WC Fab filter. The only difference, the main thing, that protection that gives to dry filters is a filter box. So this factory one has a filter box. HSB has a filter box. SMB has a filter box. There's other ones that have filter boxes that go around your filter. We can get into temperature differences and all that kind of stuff some other time. That gets crazy between a box or no box, really. But anyways, the WC Fab one comes with a dust cover, and really the reason why it comes with that dust cover is because you don't have that oil filter. You're having that protection of that really, really fine particles of dust that could get in there, and it does collect it. I do have to clean that sleeve, so that filter sock, you should say. So I agree with Eric. These dry filters are huge. They're way cheaper. You change them once a year, I would recommend. Some people probably are going to frown upon that, but I've had no issues changing my filters once a year. But again, there's probably a difference if people do like pull trucks, or if you're pulling, trailers all the time, or if this is like, your hot shotter. It's probably different then. But for the average guy, once a year, change your filters, your air filters. Go with the dry one. It's just easier. The one we went with is STP. But who makes these, Eric?
Donaldson.
Yeah. So everybody that loves Donaldson filters, this is STP. It's packaging, all STP. Let's see here. I'll prove it right there. Boom. STP. SA10161 is your part number. My STP, Donaldson. So you guys that love Donaldson filters and are going to put in the comments, you should have gone with the Donaldson, you should have gone with the Donaldson. Understand who's making your filters. This is a Donaldson, even though it's labeled as STP. So, dry filter, I suggest it. Eric suggests it. A lot of other people suggest it. It's easier to maintain. It's easier for maintenance. They're cheaper, and they do the same pretty much amount. So, go with the dry filter. I suggest it. Let's go ahead, reinstall this now, and go from there. Now we're gonna go ahead and reinstall this new air filter. Super simple, you guys. Like I said, if you want to know more about air filters and what Eric and I talk about when we come to air filters, we did just do a podcast episode on this air filter. So make sure you go ahead and listen to that podcast if you could. I appreciate it a lot. I'll link that podcast episode below for you guys as well. If it's uploaded, I don't know when this is going to be uploaded. I like to kind of mingle everything together. That's what I'm going to kind of do for you guys. The podcast are going to formulate with the YouTube channel and the contact on Instagram, TikTok, and all that kind of stuff, LinkedIn. So make sure you follow that kind of stuff. And let's go ahead and install this. Again, here is your filter on that. Oh, there you go. So bottom in first and push in. Beautiful, right? Oh, yep. No, I just got it.
You good?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. All right, so you got your flashlight. So when you get this in there, there's that little square nipple type thing. It's got to get on the inside of that. So just kind of, you could see in the video, we put the bottom in first, then shoved it in, and it was still sitting on top of that. So I stuck my hand in there and pushed it really hard and got it in. So now technically you would run your truck, make sure that your mass airflow sensor doesn't read some type of code. You'd make sure your fuel filter is not leaking. Unfortunately, like I said, we did this right after we did that oil pan. So we have to wait 24 hours for that gasket to dry, or a cure you should say. So I hope you guys like this video. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like I said earlier, follow the podcast if you haven't. I'm excited for this. I appreciate all the support. It's great. I'm loving doing this for you guys. I can't wait to do more. We got a lot of stuff coming. We got a lot of things coming down. I haven't been doing 2 videos a week, but we're gonna get back to that. So that's exciting. I'm actually next year gonna try and push for possibly 3 videos a week. Yeah, but we'll see. So the podcast will also start to ramp up next year as well. Once I get a better grasp on it. I had a lot of things going on with SEMA and Croyle and all that kind of stuff. So kind of slacked on my end of things. I apologize. So that's it. Have a good night.